Welcome back everyone to another episode of NieR Automata. NieR Automata. Now I know it's NieR Automata. This is going to be a weird few episodes, I think, because, well, as it's a blind playthrough, I don't know what is different about it than the first one.
The Council of Humanity has a message for all of our brave androids fighting on the surface. Currently, our struggle against the machine lifeforms is at a stalemate. This battle has raged for far too long. I am sure all of you find the effort grueling. But now is not the time to give up. Now, more than ever, we must forge on. Remember that several 100,000 humans on the moon want nothing more than to return to Earth. Glory to mankind.
Those council broadcasts are always so stiff.
Hey, our leader told me all about you. Name's Jackass. Nice to meet you. I hear you're planning to take out all the machines in the desert? Guess that means we need to get that entrance open.
Looks like it. So, Jackass, was it? What are you doing all the way out here?
Oh, that? Well... wouldn't want to have anyone getting tangled up in that, now would we? Don't go trying to be a hero, alright?
Can do. So, I don't know how much of this game is going to be unique and different. I mean, like the first bit, obviously because 9S and 2B went in completely separate directions, was
Who opens a sealed gate
pretty
with
new.
explosives?
But a lot of
gotta be an
this
easier way, right?
is all exactly the same. So... So I don't know how unique and whatever it's going to be. Make the same observations. Like I said in the last episode, it's like even trying to get thumbnails for the episodes. When I went ahead and actually picked a thumbnail from the last video, and it ended up being the exact same thumbnail I used in the second episode, albeit just that 9S was in charge instead of 2B.
We got enemies approaching.
So, yeah, maybe the thumbnails will end up being the same ones.
These machines are talking.
Yeah, I heard from the Resistance that they've been seeing this a lot lately. Couldn't tell you why, though.
So, I mean, a part of me would just play this through and skip out all the bits that were exactly the same as the previous one, but at any given point something unexpected might happen. I don't know how it's going to work. I mean, I guess I could just go through the... I don't know, it seems like a waste of time. If I was to record everything and be chatting away and all that kind of stuff, and then essentially end up cutting it all because it ends up just being the same.
Do you think they even understand the concept of being scared?
I mean, I guess now I know what the main story and the definite what the side quests are. Instead of doing episodes that were just dedicated to nothing but the side quests like I did in the first playthrough, albeit that there was only 2 episodes anyway, but I probably can completely skip over those and just play it. What did I get from the mail? Oh yeah, the factory. Oh, I don't think we need that because I've got better equipment now. So maybe a lot of repetitive, samey stuff will be cut, and this second scenario will be much quicker, at least quicker in terms of the amount of videos.
What's with the weird looking outfits?
I've seen that sort of thing when I was going through some old data. It looks like what humans used to wear long ago. Certain human collectives used to use face paint like that too.
Kablamo. So yeah, the first playthrough was 14 episodes. This may end up being possibly as little as half of that. Oh god, I don't remember these things. Maybe I do. No, I definitely don't remember that. I know there was exploding robots, but I don't remember a whole swarm of them coming over the sand dunes. And again, maybe it did happen. I don't remember it though.
It's fine. Their speech doesn't mean anything. They're just emitting words at random.
Just kill them all.
Hell, why would they be attacking us?
Yeah.
Almost done. So I'm just trying to think of when 9S and 2B actually do have separate paths, but I know obviously at the very end of the game they definitely separate for the big fight against that giant robot in the water in the sea. And then the whole aftermath of that, I don't, apart from a tiny bit of the final boss, they're actually separate the entire time.
It's heading for that rocky area.
Individual target ID marked.
Apart from that, I don't actually remember that there being many times when 2B and 9S were separated.
Once, long ago, a volcano erupted. From the fires of the eruption, a god emerged. One day, the god appeared before the machines and said, "Consciousness, pain, joy, misery, fury, shame, desolation, the future, the meaning of life."
And as if to contradict me,
Analysis. It is the ruin of a former human residential area. Large numbers of humans resided in such concrete and metal shelters. The structures were...
Have we seen these things before? Whoa, they're speaking.
Not doing any damage to these things. It's weird, these must be like, I mean, they're gold coloured, so I'm guessing they're like elite enemies because they're only level 25, but they're not taking hardly any damage and they're just going to be a pain in the ass to fight. See, so in stark contrast to what I was saying before about how this is just going to be exactly the same as the first time through, there you go. That's two examples where that hasn't happened. We have a couple of gold enemies, rare enemies, I don't know what you'd call them, and then we had a different cutscene, or a new cutscene. So I guess keep watching because little things like that are bound to come up during this playthrough and they can happen at any moment. Like even this upcoming boss fight could be completely different or have additional bits.
Target confirmed. Let's get him.
Alright, how are you? The ambush.
Scary. So killing. Scary. Cool. Stay back. Ow. 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 Everyone dead. You are false.
So that giant robot that came out of the volcano, what's that all about? Are we gonna see it? Fight it? Are Adam and Eve really as the two main antagonists? Go down, big guy.
Run.
Not that way.
Not this way.
We went to my local game store today to pre-order Xenoblade Chronicles
What makes
2,
them choose these words.
and it closed. It closed my local game store. And there are other places I can buy it from, but I'm still disappointed that. Luckily,
These are android bodies.
Hypothesis.
I'll probably just order it online
By
and
local machine life forms.
hope that I get it on the release day.
Unknown.
It's like they were gathered here.
You know how it is when the game comes out, it's like, I'm getting that game on the day it comes out. I don't want to wait a day, or 2 days, or 3 days. The game's out, on the 1st of December. I'm getting it on the 1st of December, okay? Having said that, I don't have a Nintendo Switch. Gonna have to find the funds for that. Probably just stop eating, I suppose.
Multiple machines detected ahead. But what's with these android
What's more
bodies?
important?
Stay focused.
The next big JRPG or eSIN? Yeah.
Child. Child. Child.
What is this?
My love. My love.
Don't listen to them, 2B.
Together forever. Together forever. Carry me. Carry.
They don't have any feelings. They're just imitating human speech. Let's take them out.
Feed me. Love. 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 I'll get you for this.
Yeah, they're going crazy again.
What's happening?
An android?
No. This is a machine.
Androids. Why? Fight.
I forget which one's which. This is the one that you kill first, isn't it? The one that captures 9S. So it should be a bit easier for me to do thumbnails for these segments, because I didn't want to use thumbnails like that in case it spoiled what was going to happen. But as this is the second part, if anyone's been watching it from the start, you've already seen these bits, so it's not really a spoiler in the thumbnail. I try to make the thumbnails as interesting as possible, but without spoiling
Not another one.
what is going to happen.
We gotta get out of here!
that convenient hole.
It stopped. Looks like we're safe now.
What the hell just happened?
I know. I've never seen a machine like that before. We better report this to command. Let's move to an area with better reception so we can contact command.
Another thing I don't get, so the aliens came down and invaded Earth. With the robots they've got, those robots are far more primitive than the androids and the technology that Earth seems to have. So that's just a question of, and I guess you could argue there's two possibilities. One, they just had superior numbers. Two, we didn't actually have this technology when they attacked. The androids only came about afterwards. And or three, the robots we see now have obviously been on Earth for a very long time and are probably a little bit crappy in comparison to what they used to be, but our technology definitely seems to have advanced far more than theirs, although we know that they were actually dead, so...
We should be able to reach command here. 9S to bunker. Do you copy?
I read you, 9S. Go ahead.
Operator, we just encountered a pair of humanoid machines. We weren't able to capture them, but I have combat data ready for upload.
Understood. Ready to receive.
Hopefully you can get something out of it.
So, that was the desert.
I hear you kicked some tin can ass out in the desert.
Damn
so
straight.
I guess, you know, thanks or whatever.
No, go with thanks.
Hey, welcome back. Thanks for securing access to those desert resources. It's a huge help. I know it isn't much, but please take this. It's the least I can do. Oh, and be sure to swing by if you ever need anything, all right? What can I help you with?
Buy items. So, yeah, we don't have the fast travel function from the get-go.
Whew. I think we've earned a breather. Say 2B? I was hoping we could talk about our next move. I'm worried about the damage we took in that last battle with the machines. Maybe we should return to the resistance camp to resupply and conduct maintenance?
All right, let's go back.
You got it.
Report. Mail notification received from access point.
So that was almost... You want to die, friend? Can help you with that. That was almost identical to the first playthrough, the only difference being, apart from the operator being different, was that little, like, flashback story thing about the giant robot that came out of the volcano, so whatever that alludes to, I do not know. Recently I've got this fear about games, and I used to have 100% guaranteed faith when it came down to Japanese games, and I still have a hell of a lot of faith, don't get me wrong. It's not as though I don't believe in them as a industry anymore. Just have been a couple of games, big games from big companies that were not finished. Final Fantasy 15 had loads of cut content, and you can tell. Metal Gear Solid 5 wasn't complete, the ending wasn't complete. Even Xenoblade Chronicles Cross, I got the feeling that there were bits missing out. And it's like, so when I play a game like Persona 5 and I finally get a game that is actually complete and it has a beginning, middle and end, and everything it gets tied up, and it's, you know, then it's like, oh good, because nothing worse than a game which starts off brilliant. By the time it gets to the end, you're like, well, what? You had all that time and you still didn't finish the actual game itself. You obviously cut stuff, and it hurts, man. So hopefully this game won't do the same thing where it's got like, we mentioned stuff about giant robots coming out of volcanoes, but yeah, we were going to have a huge massive final boss battle with this creature, but it doesn't happen. It doesn't get mentioned ever again in any capacity, and it's like, oh, okay. I guess you could argue there's examples of that happening in loads of games throughout the years. I mean, we do have transport. Well, no, that point just goes to the bunker, doesn't it? Yeah. Like, new product in stock. So you've got Tales of Vesperia is an example. When it came out on the Xbox 360, it was great. It was one of my favourite games of all time. Still is to this day. But then you find out that then a PlayStation 3 version gets released that makes the Xbox 360 version look like the beta version. It's missing so much stuff. Unfortunately, we never got that in English. There is a patch, but no official release. Way back in the day, originally, another one of my favourite games of all time, Snatcher, which is a Hideo Kojima game, which not many people may have even heard of because it came out before, well, I guess before a lot of people's time, I guess. Well, the two redhead girls are there. When can I open these boxes? Oh, I can open these boxes. Aha! Now I know how to open those boxes. It's hacking system. Yeah, when Snatcher first came out, the early versions, well, I say early versions that, earlier versions of Snatcher ended after Act 2, and there are 3 acts. And it was only during the latter versions of the game, like the Mega CD, Sega CD version and so on, that actually had a 3rd act added to it. Now of course the English version has that 3rd act. We were never without the 3rd act, but there's another example of a game that when it first came out wasn't complete.
Operator to 9S.
This is 9S. Go ahead.
I have an incoming message for 2B and 9S from the commander. Initiating playback. 2B, 9S. We've lost contact with several Yorha units that were on their way to the surface. Their black boxes are online, so we presume they're still alive. We've tracked the location of their signals, so I need all Yorha units on the surface to head over and investigate. End transmission.
I heard something about that back at the Resistance camp.
Target location confirmed. I'm worried about the other androids. We should probably check this out as soon as possible.
Anyway, that's my little rant about how some video games aren't finished. I don't know what the point of that rant was, but I'm making this up as I go along. I'm going to call it an episode. Like I said, I apologise, but it's not really my fault, so I don't know why I should apologise, but I apologise for the fact that this version of the game is so far exactly the same as the earlier episodes, but albeit with a few tiny little tweaks and changes. So, as I said, it's hard to not... I mean, a part of me says I'm just going to not record all this stuff and spare you having to see it all again, but then you get a little cutscene like what happened before with the volcano story, and it's like, well, if you miss that stuff out, you won't get a full idea of the story. So, anyway, blah, 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 blah. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next episode. Oh, and I also completely and totally forgot to mention, and I'll mention it now, this is episode 100 of our channel. So in less than 2 months we've knocked out 100 episodes, so albeit the fact that they are just Let's Play videos and they're very straightforward and simple to kind of record, edit and upload. I do intend on doing some more creative videos. I want to do a top 10... Oh, don't fall off the edge there, Ninus. I want to do a top 10 boss fights of the Evil Within series. So the 2 games that are out. My brother came up with the idea of doing a recap series. So when we play a game with a decent enough storyline, if people don't want to actually watch the entire 20-hour full Let's Play video, you can just watch a, hour and a half recap series. So I was going to do a recap series on Evil Within 2, and I also want to do my top 10 most anticipated games of 2018. So yeah, so obviously they take more time to do it. It's just a question of getting the time to do it. But they'll definitely be out before the end of the year, I hope. Anyway, back to what I was saying before. Goodbye. I will see you in the next episode. Take care.